on 7 C's of effective communication. But before I start the session, I would like my viewers to give me likes to my session if they like it, and please ask your queries in the comment box given below to make the session interactive. So I will try to answer the queries during the session, and if due to time constraint I won't be able to answer the queries during the session, I would give the answers after the session. So let's start the session. Well, being able to communicate effectively at work can help increase overall productivity. We say that, we know that. But managers can understand their employees' talent and skills and will give them, then the clear direction to the people that are best suited for the job, thus increasing the overall turnaround of time of any given project. That means it improves productivity. But now, it comes to improve productivity. That means I want to say that when it comes to improve productivity, then there must be some way out to make our communication effective. So the answer is yes, there is a way out. These are the 7 C's of effective communication. That means the first one is completeness, conciseness, consideration, clarity, concreteness, courtesy, and correctness. Now let's discuss all these 7 C's of effective communication one by one. So there are 7 C's of effective communication. I want to say that which are applicable, to both written as well as oral communication. So these are first one, the completeness. The communication must be complete. It should convey all facts required by the audience. The sender of the message must take into consideration the receiver's mindset and convey the message accordingly. I mean to say that a complete communication has some features. For example, complete communication develops and enhances the reputation of an organization. Moreover, they are cost-saving as no crucial information is missing and no additional cost is incurred in conveying extra message if the communication is complete. So a complete communication always gives additional information wherever required. It leaves no questions in the mind of receiver. So complete communication helps in better decision making by the audience, readers, receivers of message as they get all desired and crucial information. And the major benefit of this completeness is that it persuades the audiences, which is the most important thing. Now the second C of communication, that is conciseness. Now conciseness means wordiness. That is communicating what you want to convey in least possible words without foregoing the other C's of communication. I mean to say that conciseness is a necessity for effective communication. So concise communication has some features. I can describe it like that. It is both time saving as well as cost saving. It underlines and highlights the main message as it avoids using excessive and needless words. Concise communication provides short and essential message in limited words to the audience. Concise message is more appealing and comprehensible to the audience, and concise message is non-repetitive in nature. Now let us look at the third C of communication, that is consideration. Well, consideration implies stepping into the shoes of others. I mean to say that effective communication must take the audience into consideration. That is the audience's viewpoints. That means the background, mindset, education level, etc. And make an attempt to envisage your audience, that means their requirements, emotions, as well as problems, and ensure that the self-respect of the audience is maintained and their emotions are not at harm. So modify your words in messages, to suit the audience's needs while making your message complete. So features of considerate communication are, emphasize on you approach. I'm going to say that when you are, emphasizing on you approach, that means consideration is implying. Now after that, empathize, with the audience and exhibit interest in the audience. This will stimulate a positive reaction from the audience, and you need to show optimism towards your audience. That means emphasize on what is possible rather than what is impossible. So lay stress on positive words such as jovial, committed, thanks, warm, healthy, help, etc. Now let us look at the fourth C of effective communication, that is clarity. So clarity, what is actually all about? It implies emphasizing on a specific message or goal at a time. So rather than trying to achieve too much at once, clarity in communication has following features. I can describe the features like that. It makes understanding easier. Complete clarity of thoughts and ideas enhances the meaning of the message, and clear message makes use of exact, appropriate, and concrete words. Now, let us look at the fifth C of effective communication, that is concreteness. Now, concrete communication implies being particular and clear, rather than fuzzy and general. That means correctness strengthens the confidence. So concrete message has some features like it is supported with specific facts and figures, and it makes use of words that are clear and that build a reputation. Just take example of any organization. Suppose my boss has given some work to me and I need to do that particular work in a given stipulated period of time. Now I'm just walking around here and there. My boss is again just following me that what about that particular work. Now whatever the work I have done, whatever the home assignment I have done so far for that particular work, if I am just repeating that particular work in a whole manner, so my boss won't be able to understand what actually I want to convey. But if I would say that in a specific and concise manner in the two-line mail that I have done this work and this much work is left, this work would be completed by this particular date. So that means conciseness. And conciseness is actually concrete messages which are never misinterpreted. So correctness comes from conciseness, and conciseness means that concrete messages. Now let us look at the sixth C of effective communication, that is courtesy. So courtesy in message implies the message should show the sender's expressions as well as it should respect the receiver. That means the sender of the message should be sincerely polite, judicious, reflective, and enthusiastic. So courteous message has some features. For example, courtesy implies taking into consideration both viewpoints as well as feelings of the receiver of the message, which is really very important. So courteous message is positive and focused at the audience, and it makes use of terms showing respect for the receiver of messages. It is not at all biased, which is absolutely an importance of courtesy. Now let's look at the seventh C of effective communication, that is correctness. So here correctness in communication implies that there are no grammatical errors in communication. So correct communication has some features. For example, the message is exact, correct, and well timed. If the communication is correct, it boosts up the confidence level. So correct message has greater impact on the audience as well as on the readers. It checks for the precision and accurateness of facts and figures used in the message. It also makes use of appropriate and correct language in the message. So now, after getting a clear understanding of 7 C's of effective communication, let's see some benefits of this effective communication, because without knowing the benefits of the effective communication, we won't be able to implement all these 7 C's of effective communication. So let's explore some benefits of effective communication, and you will see in and outside your office when you take the time to nurture these skills. Now, so the first benefit of this effective communication is building trust, which is very important. So effective communication fosters trust with others. That means your ability to listen attentively and embrace different points of view helps others trust that you are making optimal decisions for everyone in the group. That means as you serve as a role model, this trust will extend to your team and they will feel as though they can trust their teammates to fulfill their duties and responsibilities, which is very important. So now let's look at the second benefit of this effective communication. So the second benefit is preventing or resolving problems. So now how? Well, the ability of to communicate effectively plays a larger role in resolving conflicts and preventing potential problems that ones come from arising. That means this is the key to remain calm, You make sure all parties are heard and find a solution that is ideal for everyone involved. Now, let us look at the third benefit of effective communication, that is, providing clarity and direction. It means that with effective communication skills, you are able to deliver clear expectations and objectives for your team, because teamwork is very important, as we know that in the organizations. So with effective communication skills, you really able to deliver the clear expectations and objectives for your team. So it involves finding constructive way to point out when something isn't working, as well as providing helpful feedback to get people back on track. There are so many situations where we need to provide clarity and direction to our team. So it can happen through only the effective communication skills, where you are actually able to deliver expectations and objectives for your team. Well, your team will understand their specific tasks and responsibilities, as well as those of their teammates, which will help eliminate conflicts and confusion, because conflicts and confusion can only be eliminated with the help of effective communication. Now let us look at the fourth benefit, which is very important for effective communication, that is, creates better relationships. It means that good communication also improves relationships, both with employees and in your personal life, with friends and family members, in fact. So listening carefully and offering quality feedback helps people to feel heard and understood. So this in turn nurtures mutual respect. So now let's look at the another benefit of effective communication, that is, increases engagement. It means that with people feeling more confident in their work and their understanding of what they need to do, so they become more engaged with their work as a whole. So according to a recent study, in a particular college's Institute of Management Education, it is just nearby Ghaziabad, I have studied in a particular magazine of Times that in this particular recent study exploring the psychology of students' engagement in a particular classroom, so only 15% of the college students are engaged with their co-teammates in a particular project. So by prioritizing effective communication, you can increase engagement and thus boost satisfaction among your team members. Moreover, a same study, simultaneously when it happened in a particular college, the same study was conducted in a particular company. And again, exploring the psychology of employee engagement, only 15% of adult employees are engaged with their employees by prioritizing effective communication. So here actually the chances are you can increase engagement and thus you can boost satisfaction among your team members by increasing the engagement. So now the sixth step is improves productivity. Now, when team members understand their roles, that means the roles of others and your expectations, so they can focus more on their work and less on workplace issues, which is very important. As we can see in a common scenario, when there is a particular teamwork which is required, and when we are not able to understand the roles and expectations of our team members, we cannot focus on our work. And we will always indulge into the workplace issues, which is not a very good thing actually. So when team members understand their roles actually with the help of effective communication, so their roles of others and their expectations, by this they can focus more on their work and less on workplace issues. This happens only with the help of effective communication. So their conflicts are resolved quickly. The employees can better manage their workload and distractions are actually minimized, and it happens only with the help of effective communication. So these benefits contribute to greater productivity for you and your team. Now let's have a look at some other benefit of effective communication. Well, it promotes team building. That means with improved communication, team members will be better able to rely on each other. That means you will not have one team member feel as though they have to carry the entire group. So this improved division of labor will encourage positive feelings and relationships between the team members, which leads to improved morale and work experiences. So good communication skills can play an important role in nurturing positive work experiences for your entire team. So as people feel listened to and understood by you, you naturally improve your work environment. So now the viewers who have joined right now, I'm just giving you the summarization of that what we have done so far in these 7 C's of effective communication. In these 7 C's of effective communication, we have covered number one, completeness; second, conciseness; the third one, consideration; the fourth one is clarity; the fifth one, concreteness; the sixth communication that we have covered, 6 C's of communication, that is courtesy; and the 7 C's of communication that we have covered so far, that is correctness. So in this particular 7 C's of effective communication, in completeness, we have covered that the communication must be complete. You can see any example in the real life scenario when we are not completing our communication. Suppose there are two team members and the one team member is conveying a message to the other team member, but the message is not complete. It will always taken by the other team member otherwise. So it should convey all facts required by the audience, that means the other team member. Suppose my boss has given me an instruction that I have to complete this amount of work by this particular time, but my boss wasn't able to give me the exact communication. He gave me the communication by some other person. The other person gave me some half communication. So I'm not able to complete that particular project with a given deadline. So that means it should convey all facts required by the audience. Here the audience is me. So I'm just getting the communication by one other person, the boss that has given that particular message to me. So the sender of the message must take into consideration the receiver's mindset and convey the message accordingly. So a complete communication in the completeness can include complete communication develops and enhances reputation of an organization. Moreover, completeness of the communication is cost saving, as no crucial information is missing and no additional cost is actually incurred in conveying extra message if the communication is complete. So a complete communication always gives additional information whenever and wherever it has been required, and it leaves no question in the mind of the receiver, which is really very, very important. So the complete communication also helps in the better decision making by the audience, readers, receivers of the message, as they get all desired and crucial information which is actually required at that time. It also persuades the audiences. Now, after that, I covered the 2nd C of communication, that was conciseness. As the word implies, conciseness means wordiness. That means that is communicating what you want to convey in the least possible words without foregoing the other C's of communication. That means conciseness is actually the necessity for effective communication. And it can include lots of features. For example, actually it is both time saving as well as the cost saving. It underlines and highlights the main message as it avoids using excessive and needless words. That means concise communication provides short and essential message in limited words to the audience. The concise message is more appealing and comprehensible to the audience, and concise message is non-repetitive in nature. After that, I covered consideration. So in the consideration, as we can see, it implies that stepping into the shoes of others. It means that effective communication must take the audience into consideration. That means the audience's viewpoints, which are very important. After viewpoints, it can consider background, mindset, education level, and lots more. Make an attempt to envisage your audience, their requirements, emotions, as well as problems. So ensure that the self-respect of the audience is maintained and their emotions are not at harm. So modify your words in message to suit the audience's needs while making your message complete. So features of considerate communication include lots of things. For example, it emphasizes on you approach, which is very important. After that, I covered emphasize with the audience and exhibit interest in the audience, and this will stimulate a positive reaction from the audience. It also shows optimism towards your audience. That means emphasize on what is possible rather than what is impossible. It also lays stress on positive words such as jovial, committed, thanks, warm, healthy, help, and lots of many more. After that, I covered The fourth C of communication, that was clarity. So in the clarity, I included emphasizing on a specific message or goal at a time rather than trying to achieve too much at once. That means clarity in communication can include lots of features. It can include, it makes understanding easier. It also includes that it complete clarity of thoughts and ideas. It enhances the meaning of message, and the clear message makes sure use of exact, appropriate and concrete words. After that, I covered correctness. Now in the concrete communication, in the concreteness, it implies being particular and clear rather than fuzzy and general. That means that concreteness strengthens the confidence, and concrete message can include lots of features. For example, in the concrete message, it is always supported with specific facts and figures. Then I took some examples of the real life examples where the correctness and the concreteness of messages is actually required. And it also makes use of words that are clear and that build the reputation. After that, I covered in concreteness, the concrete messages, they are never misinterpreted, which is very much important. After that, I covered the sixth C of communication, that is courtesy. Well, courtesy in message implies the message should show the sender's expression as well as it should respect the receiver. That means the sender of the message should be sincerely polite, judicious, reflective, and enthusiastic. Courteous message can include lots of features. So courtesy implies taking into consideration both viewpoints as well as feelings of the receiver of the message. And the courteous message is always positive and it focused at the audiences. So now after that, it makes use of terms showing respect for the receiver of the message, and it is not at all biased. After that, I covered the seventh C of communication, that is correctness. So correctness in communication implies that there are no grammatical errors in communication, because these 7 C's of communication are implemented both in verbal as well as in non-verbal communication. So correct communication can include lots of features. It can include that the message is exact, correct and well-timed. If the communication is correct, it boosts up the confidence level, and the correct message has greater impact on the audience as well as on the readers. It also checks for the precision and accurateness of facts and figures that is being used in the message. It also makes use of appropriate and correct language in the message. So now, after I discuss the clear understanding, after getting the clear understanding of 7 C's of communication, I discussed some benefits of effective communication. So I explored some benefits. The first benefit that I discussed, that was building trust. In building trust, I discussed the effective communication always fosters the trust with others. For example, your ability to listen attentively and to embrace different points of views, which help you to inbuild that particular trust that you are making, and as well as the optimal decisions you are making for everyone in that particular group. And as you serve as a role model, this trust will extend to your team, and they will feel as though they can trust their teammates to fulfill their duties as well as their responsibilities. After that, I discussed the second benefit that you can get from the effective communication. After implementing these 7 C's of communication that I discussed, it was preventing on resolving problems. It means that the ability to communicate effectively plays a large role in resolving conflicts and preventing potential ones from arising. So the key is to remain calm, make sure all parties are heard, and find a solution that is ideal for everyone involved. So after that, I discussed providing clarity and direction. That means with effective communication skills, you are able to deliver clear expectations and objectives for your team. So it involves finding constructive ways to point out when something isn't working as well as and providing helpful feedback to get people back on track. So definitely the team will understand your specific tasks, their specific tasks and responsibilities, as well as those of their teammates, which will help eliminate conflicts and confusion. And it can happen only with the help of effective communication. So after that, I discussed the fourth benefit of effective communication. That was it creates better relationships. That means good communication also improves relationships. both with employees and in your personal life, with friends and family members. That means when you listen carefully and offering quality feedback, it helps people to feel heard and understood. So this in turn nurtures mutual respect. Now, after that, I discussed the fifth point, that means the fifth benefit of effective communication. I discussed increases engagement. It means that with people feeling more confident in their work, in their understanding of what they need to do, that means they become more engaged with their work as a whole. So according to a recent study that I was discussed, the two studies, one I discussed was of the college and second I discussed was of an organization. In both the studies, they took simultaneously, and they explored that psychology of employee as well as student engagement, that only 15% of students, that means the adult students, and 15% of adult employees, they were engaged with their team members. And by prioritizing effective communication, you can increase engagement and this boosts satisfaction among your team members. After that, I discussed the sixth benefit of effective communication. That was, it improves productivity. That means when team members, they understand their roles, the roles of others and their expectations, they can focus more on their work and less on the workplace issues. That means with effective communication, conflicts are resolved quickly and employees can better manage the workload and distractions are actually minimized. So these benefits actually contribute to their greater productivity and to your team. So after that, at last, I discussed the seventh benefit of effective communication. That is, it promotes team building. It means that with improved communication, team members will better be able to rely on each other. That means you will not have one team members feel as though they have to carry the entire group. It improves division of labor. That will encourage positive feelings and relationships between the other team members, which actually leads to improved morale and work experiences. So after that, I discussed that good communication skills actually, it played an important role in nurturing positive work experiences for your entire team. So as people feel listened to you and understood by you, actually you naturally improve your work environment. So if I just say that in a nutshell, awareness of these 7 C's of communication actually makes you an effective communicator. Again, I just want to say that if you want to learn some more about how to improve your leadership skills, including your communication strategies, so I'm going to come with these webinars very soon. And at last, again, I just say that thank you very much for joining this session with me. I really appreciate your time, as well as I want to say that do engage with others, do engage with us. If you want to have some other topics of the webinars, please send us the topics. We would love to just deliver the topics chosen by you people. So that's it from my side, and thank you. Take care.